everyone. We welcome you to Bridging Dimensions show with Marguerite Riguloso. My name is Athena Sai, and I am your heavenly host for today's show. Our topic today is really exciting. I'm so excited about this. It is all about dragon and unicorn consciousness. But before we get started, I want to just mention that Marguerite is in her high priestess oracle state with the assistance of the plant medicine Lady Cannabis. This event will go for about 90 minutes, and we'd love for you to have any questions or comments on this topic. Go ahead and put those in the chat box. The chat is always open, and we invite you to ask any questions that might arise for you during this time. We also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of the amazing things that Marguerite and Seven Sisters Mystery School has going on. Also, to show your love, you can leave some super chat donations with the money icon down below. And your donations do support the Seven Sisters Mystery School in the delivery of these invaluable wisdom teachings. And I'd also like to say a special thank you to Connie Viveros, who is the sacred space holder in the background. And of course, to Karen Gordon for the amazing job that she is doing as the administrative manager of the school. So I know that we are all so excited to get started. So hello, Marguerite. How are you today?
Hello. Well, pretty full. I would even say pregnant with this information, which I don't even know what it is, but it's all waiting in my womb just to be shared. How's that for an image?
I love it. I can feel that. So beautiful, beautiful. So as we're kind of tuning in, let's just dive in right away to, dragons have been really showing up in people's consciousness so much lately. I mean, they've always been this myth around the dragons and the unicorns, but who are they and what are the dragons really?
Yeah. Well, one thing that's happening right now is I'm being invited through love to literally receive dragon energies into my womb. And now I realize why I did the mantra practice of Shri Kaleshwar, the Holy Womb Chakra practice, because you have to clear yourself out in order to receive. And there's so much that's come into women's wombs, negative energies, negative tendrils, so much is in there. It is really true what Sri Kaleshwar said, and that you want to clear out to be receptive to all of this. Okay, and yes, the men can clear themselves, and they're not a bindu, so that they can have more of a clear link to their mothers or the women's wombs in their life. Okay, so that's just an image to get started. Integrating some of the things that, I've been working with and teaching about and having it all come together. So about the dragons, we're just presencing the dragons and the unicorns. I'm thanking Lady Cannabis also for assisting me. I'm also thanking Neil Gower and all of his participants in the Dragon Conference recently that took place a few weeks ago. It's really a brilliant thing, and I highly recommend it. Those people are bringing forth a lot of information. And as Neil said to me, he gave me the link to last year's, and he said so many more light codes have come in just this year about the dragons. And this is true. It's like the mesh is dissolving that has kept us from being able to see and know the dragons. And as Vox Angelus, one of the channelers there, said, the dragon will appear in your life and in your consciousness as something of interest to you when your vibration, your consciousness starts opening to a certain degree. Okay, so that's what we're happening. We're having more and more people's consciousness opening through coming in that way, through medicines, through meditations, through healings, through whatever's going on. And now we're all collectively and then synchronistically, we've been in the year of the dragon. And I started out with an oracle in January, but it's, as one woman said there, it's not just happenstance. Raquel Spring, this is a synchronicity, and this is a major door opening to us understanding that these beings, they run the universe, all right? Hello, we're Gloria and Sylvia from Long Island in the fifth dimension, and they're running the show. So it's like if you're praying to God, you better know who's exactly running the show if you know what we're saying. Because, it does help to know who you are praying to and the energies that you're drawing in. So it's like to understand that the divine is like this dragon energy. Like that is the main creative energy of the universe. And it's feminine in orientation, but it's light, it's love, it's water, it's all the elements, it's everything in creation. And that's why Tiamat was visioned as a dragon that in the ancient Iraqian story, and then Marduk slays her, and that's like a warfare against dragons that started in. Okay, because it just goes through the whole, the dragon differentiated and then started looking in different kinds of ways, and some of those it started descending from unity into duality, and then you're going to have negative and positive. So the dragon itself in a way split into from positive into negative, which are the reptilians, and I've always sort of blamed the high angelics for taking dragon DNA and making it into reptilian, and there could be an aspect of that, but it's almost like just by the very differentiation, the dragon split itself, into good and evil, and then we've got all that going on. And so I want to look at Adam Apollo's comment that the dragons were formed, or the reptilians were formed when the dragons were genetically used by the Arcturians to hybrid with humans. And this created a problem because the dragon consciousness then was all of a sudden seated in planet Earth, and they were like, whoa, we can feel that energy. What do you mean? What are you doing genetically? You can't just splice DNA. You're taking a consciousness. Don't you realize what you're doing? And so then they came over here, but by the time they came over here to like do this rescue mission, they were like Wrath, the dragons of Wrath. Okay, that's what Adam Apollo talks about, and that is one timeline. And so what I'm seeing is that the Mary Magdalene gospel, where Jesus teaches her about encountering the powers of wrath, it is this very being. It's this very like evil kind of dragon being that's developed, and you have to go through the rungs of initiation to get to the pleroma, to get to the light. So you're going through like the body of this negative, wrathful dragon to get up to the light so that you can, move on. And so there's just been a lot positive and negative going on with dragons on the planet. That's just giving you a little taste, because of course the dragon split and then split again and again and again and kept fractalizing into, the reality that we have now. And so once we start understanding that our God is a dragon, it's a big thing, because now we can start getting somewhere. It's like, oh, it's not just a bearded man in the sky. Oh, it's not just, any of these other goddesses or gods that we're going to name. Well, no, it's a fierce, forceful dragon energy. And it has many different personalities. There are dragons of the emotions. There are dragons of the virtues. There are, dragons, and they are the wisdom keepers, which is why I'm so attracted to them, because wisdom is Sophia. Like, I think it was Raquel Spring, she said that if it all boils, if you come to one thing about who the dragons are, they are the wisdom keepers. Okay, that is Sophia. That is Sophia, goddess light. of the original pleroma. All right. And so that's what is going on here. And so more and more of us are being able to understand and see this. And the interesting thing is that this will sound like gobbledygook to the uninitiated. And the light language that came through the Dragon Conference that Neil just did is going to sound like ridiculousness to the uninitiated. Okay. But as people open their consciousness more and more, and of course, these plant medicines are available to help us do that. Because, you know, unless you're born totally psychic or you are really able to devote yourselves into being psychic 24/7, the plants are there to help us be able to see and understand on these levels. That seems like ridiculosity to the three-dimensional world, but then we are the ones who know. You go into a state of full knowing about all of this, okay? And you're able to feel the dragons, see the dragons even, you know. All right, Marguerite, she's not going to do ayahuasca. She doesn't want to see anything. She really does not want to. Knowing is enough, okay? Knowing is enough for her right now. When she did the mushrooms, oh my God, it was just too much. I mean, it might be that I could handle it now. I haven't tried it. You know what I mean? But I had to do this whole purification that I just went through the last 2 months to be able to handle that medicine. Okay, I just went through a massive healing with a lab medicine, okay, in an environment that I trusted, and I was able to release all of this hell from my body, mind, spirit so that I could get here. All right, so I'm just saying, this is what we're all doing. We are releasing our hell, we're releasing the demons of wrath, and we are being able to see at deeper and deeper dimensions, which is ultimately the dimension of the heart. Okay, love unites all the dimensions. It is everywhere. It is the elixir. It is the one thing that unites all the dimensions. So the dragons, of course, are love. They created love. They are love, you know. The Sophia dragon is love. She's the wisdom keeper. She's the heart keeper. She's the womb keeper. Okay? That's what we're all doing. We are developing these aspects of our holographic field, right? Okay, we can call them chakras, whatever, because that's how we can manage it, to focus our energy on it. But all this stuff is actually within our whole holographic field, including our memories. And so this is also a strong message to all of us becoming oracles and all who are oracles, to continue to pull all the energy through all of your holographic field so that you are balanced when you're getting this information. You're not just doing it in your head. You have to also do it in your womb. And so there was a missed lesson in the old psychic trainings that you have to channel from your head. You want to channel from your womb, and the Greeks knew that. They called them belly talkers and so forth. Okay, so we have to get this into our womb so that we don't start losing our memory field. Okay, because one of the things that I've seen is that quite a number of our major oracles then lose their memory fields. And so we don't have to get scared about this. We just want to pull the energy all the way through into our fields and into our wombs. And you know, your womb is your dragon. Okay, so everybody's being invited to feel that. And of course, for the men, the phallus is their dragon, you know. So it's a dragon in a different direction. And the woman, it's more like a dragon that spirals in on itself into the womb. Okay, so everybody, you can just feel your dragon. Okay, so that's like a lot of initial information. Let's go to the next question.
I love so much of what you said. As someone who's also taken the Holy Womb Chakra teachings through your courses, I've also experienced that, and my connection to the dragons have grown so much. So it's kind of like what you're saying is this reclamation of the wisdom teachings as oracles. Like that's really what we're here to do is,
Yeah.
Clear and cleanse of all the old programming so we can come into the truth of who we really are. So
Yeah.
I can attest to what you're saying because I'm also living that through the work that you're putting out into the world. So I just want to say thank you for that. And I also want to say hello to everyone who is here. I do have some chats coming in and we will get to those in a moment here. Let's dive in. We talk so much about the dragons. Let's dive in a little bit to the unicorns, just so people can kind of get an overall feel to why is the unicorn consciousness coming back onto the planet now as well?
Right. Wanted to say hello to all the Mary and Magdalene priestesses who are also watching from our program. That's very nice. Yes, because we talk a lot not only about the dragons but the unicorns in this training, and so this is really the first time that I'm looking at the unicorns to this degree in ceremony like this. So I want to just tune in. Oh my God. It's like they're so grateful. They're like this amazing energy of light. They're white. And they have hearts of crystalline diamond, mother of pearl light. And they are just filled with love. They represent the gentleness of love. So I'm just allowing myself to give a transmission of the unicorn energy. For anybody who wants to tap into it, tune into it, receive it. It is the gentlest form of love. And in duality, what it does is it creates a sadism that responds to it in a negative way. It's such the most refined form of love that it brings up its complete opposite. And there's a sadistic energies that arise to torture this creature. And when it comes down further in the dimensions into third dimension and so forth, it's really at risk. It's really at risk. And they sacrifice themselves coming to the planet. And that image of the dragon being slain in the cloisters is an image of that. It's the sadistic destruction of the light. The unicorn is slain. Long live the unicorn, for the unicorn still exists in the field of Mother Mary's womb in those tapestries. And that's why Mother Mary is all together with those tapestries, and the virgins were always with the unicorns because they were the gentlest humans of love, the ones who could achieve divine birth. They were the gentlest humans, and they were the most at risk. And Mother Mary was able to take the energies of wrath and the unicorn and unite it within herself so that she could withstand, achieve her final initiation into the goddess who holds it all, back into her dragon self, and give forth birth to the Christ. So yes, the Christ is the unicorn, born out of the gentle love of Mother Mary, who in the bridal chamber united her wrathful dragon and her unicorn. And that's why those unicorn tapestries have the dragon or the lion and the unicorn. They are uniting the opposites within. It's a bridal chamber initiation, the Clooney tapestries. Okay? So for everybody who is in the priestess training, you're getting this information. And for those of you who are not, you can come next year. But this is an important initiation of understanding the complete unification of the opposites that wants to happen within you. You don't eradicate either side. You completely integrate it together like DNA. That is the bridal chamber. And so I was with a client this week, and she was looking at symbols and signs, and what I saw was that okay. Whew. I just have to calm for a second. That the Essenes would go through these processes and practices of unifying opposing personality characteristics that they had, or things like that. Like they would have to go through all of these unifications. It was almost kind of like an endless thing. The bridal chamber is like an endless thing, and it is like a Merkaba field or something that you go into. It's kind of like Woody Allen's Orgasmatron, but it's for, it's for the bridal chamber. You go into it, you come out of it a little changed. All right. And so they would go in and out and in and out. The bridal chamber wasn't just one thing, one time, but Mother Mary united the bridal chamber of all bridal chambers within her. And that's why she was a virgin, because she was sovereign, because she already contained the masculine and feminine. Okay. And so, she was a high being, and that's the image that we're being shown today. And it's not about what people are thinking that it is, where you become the opposite gender and you go through this and that. Like all those folks, yes, you are onto something, right? You're showing the world something. There's something that needs to happen here, but it's a unification. It's not a flipping. Okay, you don't want to flip into your polarity. If you're feeling like you're a woman in a man's body, you're 50% there. Don't jinx it. All right? Like, work with that. You are gifted. Work with that. Get your shamans, your Essene initiates to help you understand the higher level initiation you need to go through. So Bruce Jenner missed the mark. It's the one game that he lost. He missed the mark with his javelin and whatnot and so on, and his ancient Greek lives, and everybody could see it. He was from this and that. and he missed the boat. All right. So the point is, we're all unifying our opposites. We're unifying our dragon of wrath and our dragon of goodness. And we're just letting this unicorn, because the unicorn is the one horn that unites the two spirals, you see? It's as plain as the nose on your face. All right. That's what the unicorn is saying. The horn of the unicorn. It's saying that, and it's as plain as the nose on your face. All right. All you priestesses over there in Marguerite's program. This is really the class that you're going to be offered in whatever, later in December. It's already happening. Okay. So Athena, next question.
Yes, that was so beautiful. There's so much that's coming through. And I just want to say again, it's this, like you were saying, it's like the DNA spirals, right? The double helix spiraling through the horn. And also it's this integration. It's not, like you said, it's not one or the other, it's both, and how we can marry and merge those together. And, it's that unification with self first before we can ever do that with another person too. Because I know a lot of us are also on that path of divine union with another. And so it all starts with ourselves first. So being able to hold that place in a neutral field where you can be both light and dark and be in that center space. So I feel like that's kind of like that energy of the unicorn as well, like merging it together into neutral purity.
Yeah. Two horns as one. There was some interesting information coming in as you were talking, Athena, that this bridal chamber mystery that the ancient ones talked about and did, and Jesus and Magdalene and Mother Mary did it, and the high Essenes did it. It is so critical. It's like you're uniting opposites at every level of the hologram. So, it's very deep. It's very profound, and it really, for a lot of people, it requires the medicine to do it. So there are those who are talking about this, William Henry and so forth. It really does require medicine. And you can get ready for the medicine. That's the thing. You don't just be like, hey, I'm going over and I'm doing 5 million tons of ayahuasca every day of the week for 1 year, and I'm going to have my awakening. People. All right, this is getting Marguerite's goat. Come on. What is wrong with this picture? You need your teachers to help you work with the medicine appropriately so you could get up to the level of the bridal chamber. And even if you don't have your teachers, at least knowing this, like, let this dragon consciousness of wisdom lead you into your own medicine use, Okay, so let's have another question.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. So we're going to go over the chat box. So I just want to read, Claudia is saying she's sending love from Florida. We have Ecstatic Dance is saying, is Kundalini energy within us the same as the creative dragon energy?
Yeah. Oh yeah, very much so.
And she's saying it really feels like her womb is being cleared and refilled, like you said. Yeah. So she's experiencing that.
Good. Keep going with it. Yeah, that Kundalini energy, that, any kind of electrical tremors within you, it's all dragon energy. Your very animated soul is dragon energy, right? So when you think that everything is dragon energy, that's really something, and that's God. That's the divine. That's the Sophia. Christos. Okay. Yeah. Next question.
Taboo Talks with Tenacious is saying, what is the unicorn telling us at this time? How can we feel the magic and embody it?
Yeah. Well, you can get into your meditative states. I mean, you can first ask the unicorns to communicate with you, to be in relationship with you, just like you can with dragons. And of course, there are many different dimensions of dragons and so forth. So ask them to come at the level that will give you the next initiation upward, right? Because you might go from like the pink dragon of love to, whatever it is. Okay. So for the unicorn energy, and then, go into your meditations and be with them. Go into your medicine sessions and be with them, right? Cacao, whatever you want to start with. And then, right? Okay. And then what I'm seeing is that you can go into very pristine places in nature and that are very safe and remote from anyone. And you can call them in there. You're more likely to see them if you do medicine, but you can call them in. They're very wary about humans because they're just such targets of humans and anyone who has any sadistic energy or could have it be conjured up. So they can't even be seen, but if you go with the right heart and you open to them, you can just ask them to be with you. They give healings. They can heal water. They can. The touch of their horn into water, it is true what they say anciently. It can heal water. And of course, that's why the dragons of wrath don't want them on the earth plane. They don't want the waters healed. They want to keep the waters poisoned, okay, for their own purposes, right? So I'm just going to look in a little bit more about how people can work or play with unicorns, Athena, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, the unicorn consciousness is really very much also about developing your third eye. And you're opening your ability to see and open. I mean, that's what it's all about, is for you to know, for you to see. Yes, you can listen to oracles as the day is long, and you're wanting to be able to see and know yourself. So anything that can help you open your sight is steps in the right direction. I am just seeing them as this unbelievable light that it's almost like they are winged. They are winged, or they were winged. Like Pegasus is a denuded unicorn, and unicorns are denuded Pegasus. Like they're supposed to have the same. They're supposed to have the horn and the wings, but there was manipulation of them too, so that they couldn't fly again. They couldn't fly off the planet. And then they got tortured. They got captured and tortured. So I'm just letting their energy come in. It's like this iridescent mother of pearl kind of energy. Phew, white mother of pearl, but all this iridescence within it. So the winged unicorn is what we want to bring back. And those of us who are working in the dimension of becoming the Mary, really activating that which is already within you, then you can be with these unicorns. You become virgin, you become sovereign, in other words, and you can work with these unicorns in a different way, in a bigger way. So the teachings of this training particular are very important. Codings for people to know and understand. Just gets the simple information so that you can go on and then, do your thing. And yes, we go and we have our ceremonies, which help us go deeper and see together, and then all the women, you are all being invited to have your own unicorn, or to really draw in your own unicorn. Just as you are being called to draw in your dragon, okay? That's the ultimate St. Margaret image, even though they kind of twisted around that story. The woman who has the dragon is it's a pet, but not a pet. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there's love and affection, but it's not an infantilized situation. It's one very much of, this being is a teacher for you. Is a teacher and a healer. So if you want to know about the unicorns, just call your unicorn of true love, light, and wisdom to yourself and begin working with it. Let me pause there and see if there's other questions.
Yes, thank you so much. And just a question that's coming up, you spoke of the womb is where we hold the dragon consciousness within us. Do you feel the heart or the third eye is connected directly to the unicorns? Like if we hold that within us, is it the heart more, or is it
it's like unicorn here, dragon down here, and they meet in the heart. But the unicorn is more the third eye, and the dragon is more the womb energy. Okay, but they meet in the heart, and they can circulate around and around. But yes, the unicorn energy is like, see me, feel me, touch me, heal me. That's why that was so important in Tommy, because everyone knew what that call was. It was a call for the soul to be seen by the divine, and for the divine to be seen by the soul. And so the unicorns are asking the same thing. See me, feel me, touch me, heal me. And we are asking the same of the unicorns. They are healers. They are massive healer beings on this planet. And Hildegard of Bingen was right. Their crystallized body parts, when they got trapped in this realm, could be used to heal people. Okay? And she would know, because I really feel that she was doing the medicine big time. That's why she had all those visions. Okay? She wasn't just lying there on her divan and suddenly heavenly harmonies and all this shit were coming in. No, I mean, the woman, she was an apothecary. Okay, she was a Magdalene, and that's the biggest veil that's been over Hildegard of Bingen. Just as it's been over Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary and all these people, it's become so taboo to use medicine, and there's all these warnings. Oh, it's going to do this to you. It's going to do that to you. Yes, well, maybe it will if you don't do it with guidance and you're misled around it. But this is the realm of those unicorn tapestries have all the plants in there. That is an apothecary heaven. All those plants in there were part and parcel of the medicines that these people would know how to do to get into their higher level of consciousness and be able to see and know in a very dense world. Okay, so the unicorns are some of the most light of the beings, and that's why they're the least understood, the most made fun of, because you see even that cruelty that is there to kill them and torture them is there in the way that in the ridicule with which they suffer. Okay, so all of this is literally part of it. And we are coming into an awakening. So anybody watching this, we're having a big awakening to unicorn consciousness and the subtle love of these beings, their tremendous capacity and interest in healing humans. And so Mother Mary like she is a unicorn, right? And Jesus is a unicorn, and they're dragons, right? And we all are. It's about developing the unicorn dragon or the unicorn lion unification within you. All right. So in that tapestry, the final one, my soul desire, the lion and the unicorn are happy together, and she's in her bridal chamber. She's done it. My soul desire. That is anyone's soul desire, to come to unification, to unity. All right. It's a mystery in plain sight for those who can see. All right, another question.
That was so beautiful. Thank you. So, Aniliel, Elizabeth, I'm sorry if I said your name incorrectly, but she's saying, so blessed to have the most beautiful unicorn tapestry that found me in France. This one is The Taste. I felt such a strong connection before knowing its connection to the Marys.
Yeah. The taste, you see, those are all, as I've been telling my class, those are all entry points to the initiation. Okay. And you can actually enter at any point of the senses: taste, touch, smell, sight, hearing. Okay. So, I picked a certain sequence where I started with taste. Okay. I started with taste. The medicine goes in, and then, we're going up from there in these initiations in the class. So, keep playing with all these senses as portals to your activation, your opening, the opening of your sight, your seeing, your knowing. And then, all of them put together, it's the sixth sense, right? That's that one. And that's your soul's desire, when all the senses come together. Okay, another question or comment.
Okay, so thank you everyone who is watching. Thank you so much for saying hello. Kathy is saying, have you seen the woman from South Africa who has her horses with her as she does Reiki sessions? She has a very unicorn energy to it, is what she's saying.
Yeah, that's about as much as they dare show themselves, is through the horses these days, the unicorns. All right. And so, yes, that woman and those horses, whether consciously or not, are approaching that kind of unicorn healing. And Athena, why don't I have you do station identification, some announcements while I just use the loo, and I'll be right back for everybody. Okay.
Yes, I can absolutely do that. Yes. Okay, so everyone, again, thank you so much for sharing all of your comments. The chat box is still open. And if you're liking what you're seeing, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of the amazing offerings that Marguerite brings forward. So we have a couple announcements here. The first one that we want to talk about is the upcoming Mary and Magdalene monthly empowerment circles. Now, these happen every month. And the circle really offers you profound oasis of tranquility and spiritual recalibration. It is a beautiful place to gather with like-minded individuals, and it helps kind of like a support system or a lifeline in these times of great transformation that we find ourselves on, or in, I should say. So it really helps bring more peace and love and balance and feelings of connectedness and unity into your life. And you can join for a low monthly subscription fee. And we will make sure to post the link in the description of the video here. So make sure to check that out. Again, that is every month. And she really works with both Mother Mary as a master avatar and Mary Magdalene as a personal master for your ascension journey. And then we also would like to mention on December 8th, Marguerite is having a cacao ceremony.
Oh, and by
And
the way, Athena, I
oh,
think we might have changed the top. What is the topic? Is the topic about miracle energy?
yes.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So I have the theme here is stoking Mary's miracle energy in your life. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So this is in December. Excuse me. This month in December is all about the miraculous conception of Mary by her mother Anne and Mary's mystical appearance to Juan Diego in Mexico. And so with this cacao ceremony, it's all about celebrating your own ability to call these miracles into your own life. So, in this journey, supported by Mother Mary and Mama Cacao, you'll be led to appreciate the miracles that many of us take for granted. You'll be inspired to revel in any unexplained events or synchronicities you may have been experiencing in your life, and you'll be able to be guided to call on the feminine and mother side of Infinite Creator and invite her miraculous healing into your life. So these are some of the offerings that she has coming up. So make sure to check out the information in the chat box. We will make sure to post those as soon as we get all the information.
Yeah, I think we'll have the link on that. Well, Karen, maybe you could see if Jody could get that up today, so that we could put the link on. She's working on that registration page. I don't know if we can. If not, by Monday. All right. So yes, let's go into questions. Thank you so much, Athena.
You're welcome. So I'm really intrigued. I have a little son and he loves dinosaurs. So this is kind of switching gears a little bit, but I want to know, I'm very curious, what in your oracle space, what are dinosaur bones? What are the dinosaurs? Are they really remnants of the dragons?
So the dinosaurs are like clearest concrete example of the fact that you've had different beings inhabiting this earth at different times. And that sometimes the earth is habitable to them and sometimes it isn't. When it becomes inhabitable, then they extinguish or they go out of the earth plane. And there have been many ins and outs of these kinds of beings that have come and gone into 3D. So when I tune into the energy of what these beings are, well, they're essentially like winged dragons. Yeah. Like they're actually, even scientists draw them this way. Sometimes they don't see their wings, but yeah, they're the winged dragon beings that have been on the planet, that have lived here. And the way that they draw them is not always right. Like, who's to say? That was just someone's interpretation of what they looked like, and we take it as gospel. And so we need to start looking at these bones and these things in different ways. Not with the veil that science puts over it, like, hey, they just unearthed a giant. Hey, they just unearthed an elongated head person. And yet a veil goes over us like, I do not see that elongated head. I do not see that giant. It does not exist. They didn't do it. There's no curiosity here. There's nothing here. There's nothing to see here. You see what I mean? Like, literally, we have artifacts and we still don't believe, let alone when it's way higher into the higher dimensions, And so, I mean, I'm going to just look a little bit, because I'm so influenced by like that Tyrannosaurus Rex image, that I almost can't even, like, I just feel the word dinosaur, it imposes something over the dragon reality. So we need to like move dinosaur energy. Abigail, Marguerite is sorry that she gave your child the dinosaur puppet. All right. It was the closest thing she could get to a dragon at the art museum. We're sorry, just burn it and get him a dragon. All right, just get him a dragon. Just burn the thing. He was afraid of it looking at it. No wonder. So anyway, that is so funny. Okay. So the let's see. Just focus. Yeah. See, they don't even want me to look at this. Some certain people, but I have love, so that doesn't really matter. I'm sovereign in my love. That's your biggest protection. You know, so I've had years of these medicine ceremonies where I'm like, oh my God, all this energy is coming in, this and that. I'm good. The underworld, blah, 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 dee, da. I feel like I'm being attacked. I feel like I'm being taken over. Now I've gone through these initiations where it's like, huh. And that's what we're doing in the priestess training, ladies, because we're opening the Merkaba field wider. And your Merkaba field is your love and compassion field. So you are, the beings that might come toward you are farther and farther away. You know, you really don't even feel it. And this is not combat, right? So if I get out of combat and I just look at, you know, the Amazons, they meant well. That was we meant well. That was on their graves. All right. Okay. So this dragon energy of these bones, yeah, they're encouraging us to see these three-dimensional dragons that were in here, of different types and different varieties. And some might not have been dragons. They might have been other kinds of things, but take a look and just lift the veil of the scientism and all the imagery that's keeping us down, keeping us only seeing certain things and not seeing others. Because it's kind of like when you're controlled that much, you cannot even see the thing, even if it's in front of your three-dimensional eyes. Do you know what I mean? So that's what we're doing. We're just, through love, expanding our Merkaba field, and we are opening our sight to know what's what. Okay, pause. Next question.
I just want to point out that what you just shared about, you know, it was kind of this live energy of you dissolving your own fear around these energies being able to permeate what you wanted to share. So you were just like that living example of what unification looks like. So I just want to say thank you, because you just brought that forward so people can actually not just intellectualize it, but experience it.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, because that's where we're all going. Because, you know, when you go into the other realms, it can be uncanny. And you can feel, it can be frightening. That's why you want to have a good guide. You don't have to do it alone. You just have to have somebody who can help you over the threshold, you see? And then, now for me, I had to learn the hard way all these years, I guess. Being in there, being in the underworld. I mean, with mushrooms, I'd go straight to the underworld. Holy crap. And it was like drowning person trying to get up. I mean, wow. And so now that I'm having this heart awakening, this heart healing, this heart opening, you know, by thank you, Marys. And they're like, thank you, Marguerite. You're like, okay. I mean, they're like, you're Marguerite. Your name is a combination of Mary and Magdalene. Wow, I just saw that. They said your literal spelled name in English is that. And I was like, wow, what the heck? Can you believe that? That is so intense. Wow. Okay. So anyway, so here's the thing. So like all this time, also this humility lesson has been coming in, like, that's one of the virtues, right? And Mother Mary excelled in the humility, because when you start getting this kind of information, you can definitely think you're all that. And that's not bad if it's like genuine confidence. But these negative energies can come in and lean it in the direction of arrogance, or lean it in the direction of control over others, or lean it in this direction, lean it in that direction, right? That's why Mother Mary excelled at the humility, because she was unshakable. She was a complete sovereign. Nothing could touch her. And that's where we're going. Okay. And that's where we're going. All right. And this priestess training I'm doing is just reminding you of stuff. That's its main purpose, you know? And so, okay, next question.
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Wow. Mother Mary bit.
Yeah, that was beautiful. So next question that's coming forward is just learning about Merlin came through just now. Did or does he have a connection to the unicorns?
Oh, yes. The unicorns, the dragons. I mean, the whole timeline of Avalon was a whole realm of Eden. I mean, Avalon, Eden, Shambhala, whatever you want to call it. It was this realm. And it's a dimensional location. Its umbilicus is the UK. And it's not like just there, but it's like an astral thing, like an astral city kind of thing, if for us to understand these things, right? And so King Arthur, Queen Guinevere, Merlin, their parents, their lineages going back, this was all part of when things were intact on the earth, when it was an Edenic realm. And then really the things started coming in. The wombs of the women who were giving divine birth started getting attacked. The men started getting attacked. The men started attacking each other. It was like a bad virus that went through. And then you've got the knights killing people, and you've got the subterfuge with Guinevere and Arthur and Lancelot and Elaine, and all of these sexual misery things that got inserted to their very beautiful original Essene organization, where they were all happily coupled. But when those negative energies start coming in, those negative dragons, if you will, or reptilians, it scrambles the paradigm. And so they're trying to, so you still have King Arthur, and he's like trying to Excalibur, but it's all getting scrambled. Like he's got to go to war, and wait, what? Okay, so that was the degeneration that we witnessed of Avalon. And so yes, Merlin, the dragons, they were there. They were there with them. They were coming in and out of dimensions. They were, as the dimensions got thicker, as the timeline went on, they had to use the medicines more and more and more to be able to see these beings and dwell with them, right? So these medicines are like our last root, our last grasp of our ability to get to the other realms. And that's why they've been killed all the witches, killed all the indigenous people, or tried to. They can't. It will always pop up. It's like mushrooms. To use the metaphor. Okay, so I'm going to just pause there.
Thank you. Yeah. So let's go back over to the chat again. Hello, everyone that's just joining. Yes, you can definitely watch this on the replay. Several people are actually talking about, how we had mentioned the womb, the heart, and the third eye. Some people are imagining a rainbow colored bridge. And I know in one of your previous courses, you also talked about the rainbow table with the King Arthur energies, the rainbow discs. So the rainbow energy, how is this correlated with the unicorns and the dragons?
Right.
And
So,
this type of
that's
energy?
what I was seeing, Athena, that when I was describing their colors, it was like an iridescent thingy, but that's the rainbow. But that's the rainbow kind of unified into something. Because you know how we see the rainbow, they're split out. These lights are split out. But the unification of the rainbow is the white light. But it's the iridescent white light. It's a pregnant white light. It's not the blank white light. All right. So it is rainbow. It is white. It is iridescent. And that is the energy of these round tables. Like Lisa Renee talks about the round table as being a disc, a technological disc of some kind that they could use. And it's like you would whir the table and it would unify the rainbow into the white light. Mm-hmm. And then it would be used as almost like not as a sword, but as a light sword. Okay. And then the light, they would beam the light into places. Now the memory of that is in Star Wars with Luke Skywalker and that light sword. That's why everybody remembers that. Okay. And it was so powerful because, but it's a fine line between, it's a double-edged sword, let's just say. It's a fine line between beaming and stabbing. Mm-hmm. And that's why men's phalluses have to be purified too. There's a whole system that has to be purified so that they don't become weapons. They become beams. Okay, right now the phallus has been weaponized by these negative energies and really infiltrated and possessed men to some men, not all men, but this is the susceptibility to turn the dragon into a sword instead of a light beam. And this goes back to something that I channeled just sitting at my desk a number of years ago, where I saw that the reptilian mode of engaging in unification, male, female, what we would call sex, could turn into the phallic sword and the vagina dentata if something got triggered off in this encounter, or if it was being used in a duplicitous manner, like, oh yes, come here, have sex with me. Okay, so these are just some of the images that we're seeing of what goes on. That's why Freud's thing about the vagina dentata was so disturbing to people. Everybody recognized it, the power of the female dragon. And yet, women fear the phallic sword. As a child, I was terrified when I found out about intercourse because it would, all I probably was remembering was the phallic sword, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of people have that issue. Was traumatic for me. So, okay. Did I answer the question?
Yes, with the rainbows and the connection. And yes, I think you covered that.
It's a unified light that is kind of rainbow, but it's rainbow that has all the rainbows. It's like there are many different types of rainbows. There's the one that we see in our 3D prismatically, but there are other, I've talked about this before, there are other schools of rainbows, like a more jewel tone rainbow or pastel rainbow. You know what I mean? Like there are all these different types of rainbows. So the rainbow we think of is not the only one. So the unicorns contain all the rainbows within them. And that is why people say, oh, it's not just about unicorns and rainbows. Why is that? That is an ancient memory. Even if they are being derogatory and dismissive and denigrative of unicorns or people who think of them or what they are. Okay? All these things, these are codes, these are memories. The fairies, I believe, I believe. That was a code of memory. You have to believe to see. If you don't believe, you are not going to see these beings. That is the grand paradox of it. So do you want to see these beings or don't you? And you'll have to shift your belief around it. You know, that's another message today, because it's like, are dragons real or aren't they real? As though there's one answer. You know what I mean? Like, well, they're real if you say they are. And if you expect to start seeing them, you will see them. Just like what's happening in the Mary training is we are initiating to higher levels of Mary possibility. And as we see that, so we seed ourselves, right? What you believe about Mary is what you see about Mary and what you can grow to be. And that's why the book that I wrote and all this stuff is giving a whole new, much bigger image of Mother Mary. And so that we can go there, because what we believe about Mary, we are. The more we expand our belief about her, the more we come. So like, okay, 2.5 months ago, I experienced that massive medicine healing with, I called in Mother Mary as my primary ally, right? Now, is this the Mary that exists a priori or the Mary that I created? Both. And that is the paradox. And if you can embrace that paradox, you have just initiated to the next level of your knowing. You see? And so it did matter and it didn't matter to me. It was like, I am a creator being. I am creating this Mother Mary as the healer for me. And we are getting this such big image of Mother Mary so that we can massively heal the world. That's what we are all doing through this co-creative process of creating Mother Mary and creating Mary Magdalene. It's a co-creative process, and it matters. It matters. So I went and met this Mary. And what did I have? The experience of unitive consciousness with the Mother, which healed me from the tremendous trauma of my mother leaving the planet when I was 10, and that ripping away from my umbilical cord, and all that I had suffered since then, and all of the personality quirks I developed, along the way, and tried to protect myself and fought tooth and nail to keep to my mission despite that. So then finally in this medicine ceremony, I'm ready to meet the Mother Mary that I have created so that I can have this healing that is real in my life, because how I'm emoting and how I'm acting and how I'm catching myself and my thoughts is tremendous in the last 2.5 to 3 months since then. Like, I'm transforming myself. Literally. Like, it is so miraculous. And I just really thank William Henry and Julie Belfer. Okay, just going to say it, because those people are bringing it in. And, it's opening. Many, many people are doing this work. I just happen to be connected with them. But all of us doing this work, the Earth Star, Indigo, Renee, Lisa Renee, Elizabeth, all these, you, Athena, Connie, everybody in the priestess training and coming to Seven Sisters Mystery School and beyond, we're all doing this work of opening and awakening to who are these beings? What are these beings? Unicorns, dragons, and then some. Then there's going to be other things we're going to discover. Like, oh yeah, my God, how did we miss that? That was in the ancient Chinese, I never saw it before. Well, you know, the veils are thinning. Okay, another question.
Let's just take a moment and just honor everyone on this journey, on this path, everyone that's watching live and the replay, and everyone who is tuning in with their questions and their support.
Yeah.
It is an amazing time to be alive, but it's also very difficult sometimes. So thank you all for showing up. Even if you're just starting and you don't understand it all, keep trusting in yourself.
That's right. Just go with what intrigues you and follow that thread. You'll be led. You'll get everything you need.
Beautiful. Okay, so I have a question in comments again about, she's talking more about the underworld. And since you were just kind of speaking of your own transformation through that process, she's saying, can you share about the underworld and the feeling of being taken over? What happens in this scenario?
Okay. It's really an excellent question, because I was kind of alluding to that I would have that feeling. And that's why I could not do the mushrooms anymore. I was so overwhelmed. And then I was able to make it with Lady Cannabis. But I would shake for the first 3 years of using it. I would shake and hiss, you know, almost like the Delphic Oracle. That to me was like a memory of myself as the Delphic Oracle. But I could get into trouble, depending on dose, time of day, mental state I was in. I could get into, and where I was learning a lot in the underworld at that time. And so I could get into trouble where it's like, holy crap, you know, I feel like something's upon me. And I would just start doing all these, calling in these beings to help me. So that is a way, when you're learning, to call in these beings to help you, keep them at bay, and have all these protection things and tools and, you know, different things that I and others have taught over the years, and that you can intuit, you can figure it out for yourself. That's one stage of where you're going to be at that stage, and you're learning combat. And that's okay. And then, you know, at a certain point in your healing, when you start being able to access the heart really fully, which is, you know, the threshold that I've stepped over, then you can, like I'm saying, it's your auric field, is your Merkaba, it's your total protection vehicle. It's filled with love and light, and it is impermeable to the degree that you are not in reactivity, emotional reactivity. Okay, because like sometimes I'm doing these things even online with us, and it's like, oh boy, what the heck, I'm feeling, whew, and then I'll just turn on the love light, and everything calms down. But if I'm getting emotionally triggered by the topic, or I still have stuff that I'm carrying about that topic, be it a past life memory, a present life situation, that's when I'm more susceptible to those beings. A weakness in her, you know, Merkaba, you know, they'll kind of come in, and then you're like, wow, you're kind of grappling with it. And the thing is, the medicine will wind down. You'll go back to being Galadriel. You'll be in 3D, and just pick it up next time. It's just a learning. You know, there's nothing permanent. And okay, can entities hook into you? Well, yeah, you know, they can. So you do want to learn how to be clearing and clearing. So these things are not walking around with you that you might have encountered in one of these ceremonies. Okay, but this is all part of your learning, you see. And anybody helping people to use medicine is going to have to teach them how to do this, because this is the path to sovereignty in this dimension and in other dimensions. And the way you're going to feel it in third dimension is that, wow, I'm not as judgmental as I used to be. Wow, I'm catching myself when I'm having thinking on that person and having a negative thought. Oh, let me just align. Right? It's going to feel like that in your lived life. And then it's going to feel like another thing when you're in the astral space or whatever space we want to call it to be working in this dimensional seeing realm. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pause. Next question.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm just looking over here. Yes, people are loving what we're sharing. And yes, believing is seeing. Gloria is saying this is really profound and amazing. Thank you.
Wow.
Claudia
Gloria.
is saying yes and
No,
thank
Gloria.
you.
All right. We love you. You're synchronistically named with Gloria and Sylvia. And you're funny. And we really appreciate that about you. All right. So okay, go ahead.
Oh, beautiful. So you talked a little bit about the fairies, but let's dive in a little bit deeper here. How are the dragons and the unicorns also related to the Earth's subtle realm beings, the fairies?
Yeah,
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, it's all part of this Eden realm. Lemuria, Avalon, Shambhala, in whatever timeline you want to look at it. And there's more beyond that. I feel like there's more eras and epics and but in the garden, all of this exists in harmony, you see. The lion and the lamb come together. The lion and the unicorn come together. Whereas in 3D, they're sworn enemies. So there's that earth garden. That's where all the beings dwell. And the humans, were once more a harmonious part. Now they're like little Lord Fauntleroy kids destroying the whole neighborhood, because of the degeneration that's happened with us, the attacks on us, and people have just been, humanity is like drowning underwater and trying to like come out of its hell, So this realm is something we want to think about, draw, make art about, recreate in our minds, because as we recreate it, we help others create it, just like on the most philosophical level, as I'm recreating Mother Mary, I'm helping others to recreate Mother Mary. Do you know what I mean? Like these are all co-creative acts. And so the fairies, they are busy bees with their plants and things like that. The dragons are busy with their things. The unicorns are busy with the waters. And you know what I mean? It's like, and so like, where do humans fit? Well, they were thrown out of the garden. Now that is definitely a timeline event, a timeline trigger, when humans were thrown out of that garden, of Avalon, of Eden, of Lemuria, whatever it is. So I'm going to look at this for another moment. This was a nightmare. And I'm trying to look at, well, who really did it? Who really threw them out of the garden? Because that's confused.
Mm-hmm.
In this religious story we've been given, it's that God threw them out of the garden. But does that even make any sense to anyone? Okay, so who really threw them out of the garden? Humans. What I'm getting is that humans voluntarily left the garden to go through an unbelievable level of initiation and learning that would result. So, yeah, you've took the fruit all right. And she's like, you know what? We need to leave this garden. Come on, get your camping chair. We're coming out of Eden. All right. And so that's just a piece of it. Like, it wouldn't have happened without the consent, or there was some kind of agreement or an understanding of what you would get out of it, what you would get out of leaving the garden, right? But as Joni Mitchell says, we've got to get ourselves back to the garden now. Like, we've already been out of the garden way long enough. It's getting counterproductive, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. And, you know, by the time they got to Woodstock, they never even got to Woodstock. They went to Bethel, which is really interesting, which is a biblical name. You know what I mean? So it's like these wandering tribes have been trying to get back to the garden. Woodstock isn't even Woodstock. Joni Mitchell wasn't even there. You know, it's like all these illusions of disturbance and missing the mark, right? But we're trying to get ourselves back to the garden. And all of this that I'm talking about today, that everybody's learning about for themselves, is all about getting back to our being able to see and live in this garden. Not only seeing is the first step. Living in it is another. And that is the final initiation of the priestess in the Cluny tapestries, where she's living in the garden. She's achieved unity and she's living it. And you can do that in this life. You can live it. And I'm seeing these examples of it. Athena, you know, I'm going through these experiences emotionally of seeing all my old patterns of behavior and emotions. And they're just starting to dissolve away. I can just make a little bit of a different adjustment and not have them. I've avoided like 3 fights in the last few days because of this, just staying calm. And this is part of that healing that I received. You see, like, having achieved my own sense of unity with the divine, everything calmed down. That's all anyone wants. They just want to be held by the mother. Everything will calm down after that. And that's what's been happening for me. So the healing is a part of, you know, the feeling that there is the divine is a part of then this continued unity process that you're doing of your inner bridal chamber, so that you can bring Eden to earth. You can be living from that place where you are beatific. You know, like, whatever happens, wow, oh my gosh, okay, oh my God, look at that sword just came into me. You know what I mean? It's just a benevolent neutrality that you come into. So that's what I'm starting to experience myself. It's what we're as a globe experiencing. It's what the dragons and the unicorns are aiming to help us do, to understand their multiplicity vibrations, to help us enter back into the garden of our seeing. Okay, so I will pause.
That's so beautiful. And something that just came through as you're speaking, and I know we only have about 5 minutes left, so I just wanted to bring this up, and then we can do some final comments here. But when you were talking about the lion and the unicorn, it's the strength and courage of the lion with the purity and the love of the unicorn, which equals the grace that we're all being bestowed. So
That's
when we
right.
can access those frequencies within ourselves, those virtues, so to speak,
Yeah.
that's where grace is like that protective field over us. No matter what, we know that I don't want to say untouchable, but kind of in a way, those frequencies help us to really align so we can, also come into this place of empowerment and know that, what we're choosing, what timelines, what realities, what belief systems we have, we're beginning to understand that we can choose that and we can create that. And I think that's really empowering for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you start behaving and acting from that place, just things change around you, people's responses and the whole thing. That's why in the priestess training, we're including the virtues, like incorporating the virtues, patience, love, harmony, into ourselves. Like remembering the vibrations of those virtues is really important. Okay. Is there any last question that you want me to look at, or? I think we accomplished.
I think we've went through a lot of things. How about you? Do you want to just tune in and see if there's anything that the dragons or the unicorns want to bring forward for this collective, for this group?
Yeah. So from the unicorns, I feel we have such love for your courage. And from the dragons, I feel we have such love for you in your awakening. And we're here to continue to support this. And just keep awakening, just keep doing what you need to do to be able to see, know, and heal. And you will be in a continual dawning. Okay? Wow. Wow. Yeah. And the unicorns are saying also, because I feel grief with them, and they're like, don't worry, it's just changing form. Yes, there was suffering, then it was released, and it's just changing form. We're still eternal. We're here to help. And so are you. You're eternal. Okay?
It's so beautiful.
Wow.
And I know that there are more questions in the chat box. So I want to invite you guys. You can actually have sessions with Marguerite if you want some more personal one-on-one time, as well as her monthly Mary and Magdalene priestesshood. It's an empowerment circle. That is a low monthly subscription price, and you can receive insight and activations and initiations into this type of work to help you to, answer those deeper questions that you may have. And then, Marguerite, is there anything else that's coming up that you want to share about or that you want to bring forward for everyone watching?
We invite you to the cacao ceremony on December 8th. That link will be below in the show notes as soon as we can. And just to thank you again, Athena, for being this beautiful heavenly host.
Thank you.
Thank Connie Viveros, who's our beautiful sacred space holder, for this ceremony to support me, and Karen Gordon, wonderful administrative manager who's just really helped me to turn this school around and ground it. So I really so appreciate her. Okay. And just lots of love to everybody who's watching. Really appreciating the sisters in the training also. And Until we meet again. Mwah.